Are you listening?
Welcome back to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant, and day 2 of E3 is officially in the books. So we have a lot to talk about. I mean, Xbox, Bethesda, Square Enix, and Warner Brothers all held press conferences and announced a ton of new video games yesterday. So I guess first up, let's talk about Xbox and Bethesda, who instead of holding separate press conferences, actually shared an E3 stage yesterday. Which is kind of an interesting move because yes, they are technically the same company, but you know times are tough when Xbox, the company who literally dropped $8 billion to buy Bethesda, suddenly is looking around the table and is like, so I know I said money is not an issue and I just bought dinner, but you cool if we split the cab? Now, the Xbox and Bethesda press event was easily one of the most anticipated showcases of the entire E3 weekend, and the two companies definitely delivered, as the press conference featured over 30 games, with 27 of those games coming to Xbox Game Pass. Jesus, with the list that big, I feel like we need to scrap this video and make an infomercial for now. That's what I call music. Volume, what volume are those guys on now? 64? Oh my god, I'm getting so old. Now, during the press conference, Xbox and Bethesda showed off games like Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, which will come first to Xbox and PC on April 22nd of 2022. Psychonauts 2 finally got a release date of August 25th of 2021. Fallout 76 will receive a new expedition called The Pit, which will arrive in the summer of 2022. And Hades, Shredders, The Ascent, and Age of Empires 4 will all announced as coming to Xbox in 2021. Which I think it's important to note that if it was just those announcements, I mean, that would be a pretty solid lineup for Xbox. But Xbox definitely did not stop there, as the company also revealed a new story expansion for Sea of Thieves called A Pirate's Life, which will bring the likes of Tia Dalma, Jack Sparrow, and Davy Jones into the world of Sea of Thieves on June 22nd. It was also announced that Halo Infinite's multiplayer will launch separately from the game's main story campaign mission, and multiplayer for Halo Infinite will be free to play for all Xbox players. And not to be outdone, Bethesda's Arcane Studio showed off a new vampire-slaying Xbox exclusive called Redfall, which will launch in the summer of 2022. And again, there is a lot to digest there, but this wasn't even the biggest announcement from the Xbox showcase, as probably the biggest announcement was the world premiere of Bethesda's upcoming space RPG, Starfield, in which players will create any character you want and explore with unparalleled freedom as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mystery. Now, Bethesda's Todd Howard also confirmed that Starfield will be an Xbox exclusive, with the game launching on November 11th of 2022 for the Xbox Series X and S, Windows 10 PCs, and Xbox Cloud Gaming. Now, Xbox and Bethesda clearly set a very high bar, and personally, I was interested to see if anybody else yesterday could top that, and Square Enix definitely tried. In fact, Square Enix started off their press conference with a brand new game from Eidos Montreal that literally came out of nowhere, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game, in which players will get to play as Star-Lord in a third-person, single-player, story-driven game, in which your actions can directly impact the story's outcome. Guardians of the Galaxy will be launching on October 26th of 2021 for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Which personally, I think this game looks like a ton of fun. I love the use of the music, and when they popped Joan Jett, I audibly cheered for this game. But it's kind of crazy for me, how Square has somehow evolved overnight to a studio that's pumping out really cool Marvel video games. And speaking of Marvel, Square Enix used this presser as an opportunity to update fans of Marvel Avengers on the game's future, including the upcoming expansion called War for Wakanda, which will bring the Black Panther to the game as they must team up with Earth's mightiest heroes to take down the Claw, who seeks to destroy Wakanda forever. The Marvel Avengers War on Wakanda expansion is currently slated for an August release and will be free to play for all owners of the game. Now, clearly, Square Enix doesn't only make superhero video games. In fact, Square did use this event to discuss new video games like Babylon's Fall from developer Platinum Games, which will be coming to PlayStation and PC, along with new Final Fantasy games like Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins from Square Enix Japan and Team Ninja, which will be releasing in 2022, but a demo is currently available for PlayStation 5 owners. And the final E3 event that we need to talk about was Warner Brothers and developer Turtle Rock's Back 4 Blood PvP showcase, in which we got a first look at a brand new PvP mode called Swarm, which is a 4v4 mode in which one set of players will compete as the Ridden and the others will compete as the survivors, who have to stay alive as long as possible. At the end of the first round, teams will switch sides, and the team who is able to survive the longest wins. And overall, I think day 2 really kicked ass and far surpassed the first day of announcements of this year's E3. And if I had to pick some winners and some losers, well, the first winner would definitely be Xbox fans, as the company laid out a ton of awesome game announcements and new exclusives coming to the platform. I mean, I for one am hyped to see more about Starfield, and I don't even own an Xbox. And the second winner would probably be in that same tone of Xbox Game Pass. Like, every time we talk about Game Pass, we discuss the value it brings for gamers, and I feel like this year's E3 added so much more value to the service. I mean, we saw 27 new games coming to Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox, as Phil Spencer pretty much said, there will be a new game coming day and date on Game Pass every month. And I think my third and final winner would definitely be Square Enix and Eidos Montreal. I mean, that Guardian of the Galaxy announcement came out of nowhere for me, and I have watched it like 5 times since it's dropped. So I think that game shows a lot of promise, and it could be a really fun game. And as far as a loser goes, that would probably be Xbox's 2021. Because while the company did announce games including Halo Infinite for 2021, the majority of the games announced during this year's E3 press conference were dated 2022, 2023, or they didn't even have a release date at all. Which, now that I think about it, not saying a release date after somebody else said 2023 is the equivalent of saying you're gonna want to sit down because it's probably gonna be a while. But as I mentioned in the first video, this is just my opinion. I'm actually more interested to hear your thoughts of yesterday's announcements. Let me know what you thought of day 2 of E3 in the comment section down below. Hey, thanks again for checking out our channel. If you like what you saw and you want to see more content just like it, which who wouldn't, hit the subscribe button right there. And while you're down there, hit the like button. Maybe even consider becoming a Nerf Report best friend, just like the people listed down below did. In fact, don't you want to see your name there? I know I do.